Okay, so so I was wondering why there wasn't anybody in the chat. As it turns out, I accidentally didn't select the go live option, so sorry about that. That is entirely on me. As far as what I've been doing up to this point, you didn't really miss a whole lot. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, because I've also been recording this as a sort of backup here, I might go ahead and re-upload the stream VOD after this. I don't know yet. So sorry about that. Alright. So... oh, jeez. I cannot believe I forgot to click the go live option. That's just really stupid. I guess that tells you how awake I am right now. Or how scatterbrained I am at the moment. Extra dimensional gateway malfunction. Something like that.
Very good. Come, stranger. We have some farewell.
Oh, jeez. However, again, y'all haven't really missed a whole lot here. I did completely annihilate the Terracotta Army. But other than that, there wasn't really anything that interesting that happened. It's just more of the same, fighting the same Tigermen and Ratmen and Mantises and dinosaurs. And so it's all very, very tiresome. However, we are towards the end of the game now, so there is that. So hopefully we'll be able to get this finished up sometime this stream. If not this stream, then definitely the next one after that. Killing plants or no, it isn't. We've been fighting these plants. The big corpulent-looking plants we haven't been fighting, but these bog dwellers and the things that keep spitting at me, that we've been fighting those for a while now. That is a lot of damage all at once. Hey there, Retro Gamer. Welcome to the madhouse. Oh goody, more of these, just what I wanted. I really like poison effects over time. That's so much fun. A spell piece. What is this? Part of a spell written on stretch. Okay, I guess that's the mage quest I just picked up. in this village over here. Or it's not even really a village, it's just there's a teleporter, and that's pretty much it. So, see, it's this, yeah, this hermit mage thing. Probably, I would assume. I don't know. Welcome, Valera. And yeah, it feels like this game is endless, but it's not quite. If I bring up the teleporters map, then you can see that we're almost at the end of it. At least of the base game. Then after that, there is the Immortal Throne expansion, and then after that is Ragnarök, and then Atlantis, and then finally Eternal Embers, which is... I mean, they basically phoned the Eternal Embers expansion in. Jeez, these guys do a ton of damage. Tiny shield of the giant spider creature holds the fit. Yeah. Clearly, it's to give humans a fighting chance there. Clearly.
Yes, then. Goodbye.
All right, let's see here. The end is near. Only 3 to 4 DLCs left. Yeah. And I never played Immortal Throne back in the day. I only played the base game. So, if nothing else, that'll be at least kind of interesting just to see what I missed out on. I use the phrase missed out on quite loosely there. Welcome, Rokia. Again, sorry about the whole not going live on time there. I thought I had clicked the go live button right at the time, right about 45 minutes ago, but nope, that didn't happen. So I do have the recording though, so like I said, I'll probably go ahead and after the stream here, I'll go ahead and upload the rest of it as a video there. Let's see here. Sabertooth. Considerably less damage than what I'm currently using. However, it does look a lot cooler because, I mean, it's basically a katana, which amuses me greatly considering that this is set in China and not Japan. Let's see. Will I play Sacred? I have no idea. I have a copy of it. I've had a copy of it for quite a long time. In fact, I have all 3 of them. And I also have the beat-em-up game, Sacred Citadel. But I haven't really ever messed around with them much. I did try to mess around with Sacred 2 on Xbox 360 because somebody just gave me a copy of it. Because they had it, they were like, yeah, I don't like this game, you can have it. So I was like, okay, whatever, cool. And then I went and tried to play it, and I couldn't even read the text because it was too small. Which was incredibly funny. So, yeah. That was unpleasant. And then, since I couldn't read the text on the Xbox version, I decided to just wait until I picked up a copy of it on PC, and then I just never got around to messing with it, so yeah. But yeah, I do have a copy of Sacred, specifically a Sacred Gold, and then of course Sacred 2 Gold and Sacred 3, and Sacred Citadel. Eventually I plan on hopefully covering them, but who knows how long it'll take. Games like this are just... They just drag on and on and on and tire me out. As you can probably tell from how I'm speaking right now. Oh, and speaking of being tired, there's the whole review situation that I've been working on this week. Just so you're aware, the game in question is Medal of Honor Underground. Which, I mean, if you saw the last review being of the original Medal of Honor, you probably could suspect that. But, that game has been miserable. Absolutely miserable. Okay, the whole slowing me down and making me swing my weapon like 4 times slower than I should is really tiresome. Also, the stuns are not cool at all. Alright, let's see here. Katana weeb stuff. I mean, katana are pretty cool. But, it's certainly not glorious steel that will cut through even other swords or anything. It's just a sword. It's a cool looking sword. There's a lot of craft that goes into them. But it's still just a sword. And if you want a more effective melee weapon, then I would highly suggest a longsword, because it's way more versatile. Let's see. Hey there, Rochester. Do I think the Wayward Realms will be worth the wait? I have no idea. I certainly hope it will be. But, given how various Kickstarter projects trying to bring back old school games have gone, I mean, for example, Shroud of the Avatar. I'm not exactly optimistic, let's put it that way. Let's see, Sacred One is Diablo in an open world with some good mechanics. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same game. Which is to say, they're mindless Skinner boxes, and they're Skinner boxes attached to very simplistic, almost Gauntlet-esque combat. And the sad part is, I like Gauntlet, but the difference is Gauntlet it's simple and straightforward, and there's no pretense to it. It's not trying to pass itself off as a supposed RPG or anything like that. It's just a dungeon crawling action game. And as we all know, Wizard needs food badly. Please stop slowing me down. It's only making these fights take even longer than they already do. Let's see here. This game is still really just a grind fest. Oh, it gets better, Rochester. See where I am on the experience point. So experience next level is 69,250. My current experience total is 4 million. Whenever I get to the next level, we'll check in on how much it'll take to get up to level 31. I guarantee it's going to be insane. And let's see here. Quest experience is 28,000. And, yeah, 28,000 and 28,000 and a supposedly powerful amulet, but no. No, it's not a powerful amulet, I guarantee you. Just more randomly generated garbage. However, I forgot to turn in the quest there, so we'll have to do that in here in a minute. Let's see here. Katana's a weapon that use your inner power. You just have to believe. No, it's just a sword. Unless you've been reading that that one manga that came out fairly recently, that's all about the dude with a katana carving his way through the underworld or whatever. That just kind of came out of nowhere, and it seemed like it was one of the most astroturfed manga I think I've ever seen in terms of sheer popularity. Because, I mean, there was basically no hype, and then all of a sudden, people were acting like it was the best thing since sliced bread out of nowhere. It was weird. Alright, let me throw this down here. And we'll go back to Chang'an and see if we can turn this in here. One day I'll play Kenshi, one day. Yeah, one day, eventually. May even do it on stream, we'll see.
My staffs are simply the finest.
Let's see here. Get rid of that. 52 to 62. Life leech is okay. However, it's still not better than what I've got. Let me go see if I can find who I need to turn this quest into. Ah, there they are.
Hail, champion, Emperor Huang Ti. I wish I could help you with if we
No, that's the
arrive.
wrong person. Okay. It's one of these guys, I think.
Soldiers, I guess I shouldn't blame them. Yes, the men are. Mausoleum, you went great warrior. You are the great warrior.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, this is the supposedly powerful amulet. Oh, wow. A whopping plus 18 dexterity. Required player level 12. I am level 29, almost level 30. And that's the supposed reward the game gives me for completing quests. Just, this game is a frickin' mess. Let's see here. Big number must get bigger syndrome. Oh, definitely. Oh, just wait until I get to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because it's the same way. By the way, I did, in case you didn't know, I did start working on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and oh boy. That whole thing is... That is an experience, let's put it that way. Let's see, where am I going here? I'm trying to figure out if there's something I missed up in here, because... that one door is locked by a quest. I must have missed something. Let's see here. Design of the Tigerman's funny, yeah. In anime, it says Superman, a super weapon. Anime don't lie. Oh boy. You know, funnily enough, one of my favorite depictions of katana in anime is from an animated film called Sword of the Stranger. It wasn't a particularly popular film. It just kind of came out. It did okay from what I can tell, but it never really made much of a splash. But
You cannot open the door at this time.
this door is sealed by a quest. Okay, whatever. But in Sword of the Stranger, not only do katana get chipped and damaged, but they straight up break, which happened all the time because they were made of very brittle steel. See, that's the thing that people don't really seem to understand about katana. Because they hear, oh, well, they fold the steel over so many times, it makes it super strong. Well, they had to do that. They had no choice, because if they didn't constantly fold the steel over to get all those different layers, it was just garbage steel. So, yeah, it wasn't some, oh, the katana is some mystical thing. No, it's... There are some, don't get me wrong, there's some beautiful, beautiful katana out there. Some of them are absolute works of art. Just absolutely wonderful in how elegantly simple they can be. And those are the ones that are displayed in the museums in Japan, by the way. They're considered national treasures of Japan for a very good reason, because they are basically works of art. But that said, I mean, the steel they were using, it was just, even just your average European sword of, say, roughly equivalent era was better, because just the steel was better. And people tend to forget that the katana was a sidearm anyway. If you were using that, then something probably went wrong with your primary weapon, which, in the case of a samurai, was actually either a bow or a spear. Anyway, let's see here. Go back to the chat real quick. Kenshi's more of a lifestyle choice. I mean, I play RimWorld and Dwarf Fortress, so I'm no stranger to games becoming lifestyle choices, let's put it that way. Also, the caffeine's starting to take effect, that's good. Alright, let's see here. Have I ever played Nox? No, but I do have a copy of it. Any given sword is only as good as the combination trace elements left over in smithing. Yep. Although, let's be fair here. A sword is better than no sword. You gotta remember that. In Odyssey, you can hang on Zeus's... Yeah, I noticed that. And it is pretty funny that the character does comment on that. When you climb up the Zeus statue, you get on that, and they're just like, I probably shouldn't be climbing on this. I mean, I'll be fair to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It does some things that are legitimately really surprising in a good way. Like, Assassin's Creed Origins implemented the whole loot and stats and all that crap. But, okay, so we've leveled up. Let me check here. So, we've leveled up. Let's see how much I need to get to the next level. 461,546 experience to the next level. Woo! Go ahead and open all this. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins implemented a bunch of loot and click style elements with the gear you would find and things like that in the leveling system. But Odyssey takes it a step further, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised. They do actually implement role-playing in it. So, even though it's very simplistic, it actually is technically a role-playing game, which kind of baffled me. Okay, that is a whole lot of damage. Ow, 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 ow. Ow. That is a lot of damage. Yeah, I know these are basically mini-boss type enemies or whatever, but... Ow! Now, as far as Odyssey goes, it's still an absolute slog. It still takes forever to play through, but it does some cool things. Anyway, let's see here. What a faithless warrior his katana breaks. Well, the thing about the katana breaking in Sword of the Stranger is that fight is intense. Like, it's a really well done fight. It's over the top, don't get me wrong. Tons of weird flipping and twirling and such, but in terms of the amount of impact that goes on the swords, it's the kind of sword abuse that you would just... that anybody who actually knows anything about keeping a blade maintained will just look at and cringe in some ways. But it's animated, so it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. It is also the final fight in which that happens, so... kind of the culmination of everything. It's actually a pretty good movie, if you're looking for something to watch. I don't think it's on any streaming services, though. I know they came out with a Blu-ray of it a while back, but... I mean, it's nothing amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty solid. Deal with these guys real quick. And I'll take another quick look at the chat. Alright, let's see here. Imagine a game like this done as an extreme parody combining the attitude of Saints Row. Run around castrating demigods to collect and use their dongs to kill other gods. I mean, Progress Quest exists that's a parody of MMOs, and, or I guess you could call it a satire, really. But it's kind of a parody or satire of MMOs and loot 'em ups and things like that. Spear is a true warrior weapon. Spear is a true everybody weapon. Because pretty much everybody used that throughout history. Whether you were just a peasant militia or a hardened warrior or whatever. Because, I mean, it's a long pointy stick. It doesn't get much more simple than that. And there's a heck of a lot you can do with it. And they are cheap. So, yeah. Let's see here. Alright, looks like we've cleared out this whole area here. Oh, right, I have skill... I keep forgetting to allocate my skill points. I'm really bad about that. Alright, let's see here. I'm gonna upgrade the trance. I'm gonna upgrade... I'm gonna go ahead and add a point into that, and I'm gonna add a point into... that. Why not? Let's see here. Welcome there, Black Gaming. Let's see. Gothic devs, Piranha Bytes got shut down. Gothic IP is not done forever because technically THQ owns it now. Or I say THQ. THQ Nordic, which is Koch Media, I believe. But they own it, and they're working on a remake, actually, of the original Gothic, in case you didn't know that. There hasn't really been any news about it for quite a while, but as far as anybody can tell, it's still in the works. So no, the Gothic IP is not dead. However, Piranha Bytes themselves are gone, and I can't say I miss them, because let's face it, pretty much everybody who made that studio what it was left a long time ago. They left after Risen 1. And it really shows, because everything that they made after Risen 1 was not good. I still need to get around to reviewing Elix 2. I do have a copy of it, but I am not looking forward to that at all. But yep, Piranha Bytes is gone. It's a shame to see another studio shut down in the midst of all the other studio shutdowns, but I mean, the writing on the wall has been on the wall for Piranha Bytes for a long time now. Let's see here. A reason the Romans treasured Noric steel. Yep, there's there was a lot of good quality steel in Europe. Only 215 hours into RimWorld yourself. Utter peasant, Rick. Yep. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. I can't remember what I'm sitting at right now. Let me take care of these guys, and I'll actually check and see just how ridiculous my RimWorld hours have become here. All right, let me check real quick. Alright, RimWorld. I am sitting on 936.2 hours of RimWorld myself. According to Steam. So. Let's see here. Let's see, a game where you can get backpacked by a lynx and get killed by and the same swarm of lynxes will murder most of the city, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how the wildlife is far more dangerous than anything else in that game. It's just, it's downright silly. Let's see. Did hear something about katanas cracking in World War II whenever they actually came up against blades of metals. The swords that they used in World War II are actually gunto. They're not technically katana. They are a standardized, more or less equivalent of an officer's saber. But they're not actually katana. They're just very similar to one. But they were not very well made. But even then, I mean, if you strike, say, a stone or a heavy barrier, even just wood in some cases, if you hit a hit with a sword, it can severely damage the sword. It might bend it, it might crack it, it might straight up shatter it. It just depends. It depends entirely on the way the steel is. And that happens with any blade, whether it's a sword or a knife or even an axe to some degree. Axes are usually not as much because they're a lot thicker, so they can afford to stand up to more punishment. But physics be like that. Or materials science, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. if a certain company's name you won't use, deciding to erase the spears from their games. I mean, I'm assuming you mean Bethesda removing spears from Morrowind. Or, not from Morrowind, sorry. They had spears in Morrowind and then they removed them in Oblivion. There was a lot wrong with that, but that's what I'm assuming you mean. But they're more of a joke for many, many other reasons than just removing spears. I mean, honestly, people didn't use spears that much in Morrowind anyway. I know I certainly used, like, long blades most of the time. But then again, that's because I like sword and board and long swords and two-handed swords and things like that, so... I find that spears are more interesting in games where I can do more with them. So, for example, if I'm playing a tabletop game, I might be a bit more interested in using a spear because I can be more versatile with it. But in a video game, they're usually pretty limited. See, do I play new RTS games like Terminator? I'm not sure which Terminator you mean. I don't have a copy of Warno yet either. I did mess around a bit with, I mean, I reviewed Wargame European Escalation a while back. Quite a while ago. If I remember correctly, that was a kind of crappy review too, but I don't... It's been a while. I'd have to double check it. Oh, great. I got stunned to death. What a surprise. Ugh. Welcome to Endgame, by the way. The only way they can make it even the slightest bit challenging is to make enemies do stupid amounts of damage, and to have them stun and slow you constantly. But since there's basically no penalty for dying in this game other than just having to go back and collect lost experience, well, there's no point to... There's just kind of nothing there. Just feels very pointless. Yeah, as far as newer RTS games go, I haven't really played a whole lot of them. Not necessarily through lack of interest, but just I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Essence of Guan Yu's Grace. You ought to get around to actually finishing Risen 1 quite a good... Yeah, Risen 1 is quite a good game. You should get around to finishing it. It pretty much is Gothic 1.5, if you really think about it. We have guns, we don't need swords anymore. You say that, and yet, if you remember, you had the likes of World War I, where a good entrenching tool or a club was actually more effective than a rifle was. Now, sure, it was because of the style of rifles they were using in trench warfare. It didn't really combine all that well. However, don't discount melee weapons. They're very good for backup. Now, do you need to be carrying around a long sword these days? Probably not, but a short sword or a machete or something like that, sure, go for it. It can be very effective. Please stop stunning me, game. I'm very, very tired of you stunning me constantly. Why is it not letting me pick up my experience? Very rude, game. There we go. I think I picked up something that I didn't want to pick up. Let's see here. Maybe not. Okay. Let's see here. Spear and Elder is a handy metagame weapon for Argonians. Yeah, see, I don't really play Argonians, so. In Morrowind, I usually played a Dunmer, actually. I just felt like it was more appropriate. Terminator Dark Fate 2024 RTS. I haven't really looked into it. Hey there, definitely not me. Welcome to the stream. It is, in fact, going. I mean, I love how I'm getting towards the end of the game. I just stopped caring about dying in this thing because it's pointless to even bother caring about it. Because all it does is make you run back. It's like playing freaking Dark Souls. Alright, let's see here. Single-handedly causing the extinction of the dinosaurs here. Machete is easily one of the most practical tools imaginable. It really is. It's good for pretty much anything you would need it for. Although I wouldn't really rely on it for particularly heavy wood chopping. For that, I'd go for a hatchet or a larger axe, but... Go back down here and collect my lost experience again. I mean, look at this, the amount of damage these guys are doing. It's absurd. My health just goes down stupidly fast. And this class is supposed to be tanky. Keep that in mind. Yay, damage overtime effects. Just what I like. Let's see. You finished Rogue Trader yesterday. Cool. I'm kind of leery on Rogue Trader because it's Owlcat, and they've burned me twice with both of the Pathfinder games. So. Let's see here. New style trench warriors, drones all the way. And you want to have a knife all the time. I mean, knives are useful. You could always do with a good hatchet, too. Because it's always useful to have something you can chop wood with. Let's be honest. I mean, if you want to get technical, wars these days are won with artillery more than anything else. Very long range, very destructive weaponry. Individual warriors have turned into much more of a fine instrument rather than kind of the backbone of warfare. Took about 60 hours. Yeah, I keep forgetting to turn on my... I only have the one passive, actually, which is this aura here. I keep forgetting to do that whenever I die. Macro management mechanics is not so overbearing. Only turn-based combat and grid-based makes it pretty clear. I mean, the combat was never really unclear or anything in the Pathfinder games. It was just that they completely butchered the stat progression in it.
My sisters, this path does lead to the moon.
Because remember, they dramatically increased the stats that all the enemies have, so you would just get absolutely annihilated if you tried to play it like you would expecting the regular tabletop stats. You had to basically min-max the living crap out of the game if you were playing on anything higher than the easiest difficulty setting. Getting a notification here that it looks like some ads will be running on YouTube here soon, so just fair warning on that. Titan Quest, 65 million years in the playing. Pretty much. At least that's what it feels like. Short work getting killing ready. Yeah, it's very useful for that. But then when you're dealing with kindling, you're dealing with small, thin pieces of wood for the most part. I wouldn't use it to chop down heavy branches or something like that. Just because it would probably damage the machete more. I mean, you always want to use the right tool for the job, let's put it that way. Alright, let's see what we got here. The Pendant of Vacuity. Useless. 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 More absolute garbage. As usual. And I forget to apply my stat points again, because I'm really bad about that. Go ahead and put them both into dexterity, why not? Yeah, YouTube occasionally gives me notifications there, but it could just be that I don't really notice them because I'm paying more attention to the game and the chat. So. Oh, we're back to fighting pangs again. Mount Chiyun. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. 4 is also a passive skill. No, 4. Yeah, 4 is a it is a passive skill, but it doesn't actually help me much. So I don't really use it. Let's see, you were confused in Pathfinder games with grease and web and stuff like that. Where it starts where it, yeah. I mean, I can understand that, I guess, if you're not used to that kind of game. But I am pretty used to the old Infinity Engine games and stuff like that. See, this is an advanced strategy here, folks. I hold the left mouse button and occasionally press a number key. Incredibly complex, requires immense amounts of research, preparation, and practice to get right. Oh, I had to vary this up just a tiny bit because I actually needed to heal. Okay. Let's see what's in this majestic chest. Oh look, it's a bunch of stuff that I will not be using. What a surprise! Let's see here. No pre-buffing, which is very annoying in Pathfinder. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Rogue Trader is friendlier in terms of gameplay than Pathfinder. I mean, Warhammer games in general are usually a lot more mechanically forgiving than something like Pathfinder. Pathfinder is ridiculously number crunchy.
Without company for many years, and would enjoy the delight of a conversation with you on matters of philosophy. But the gods chained this titan beneath the mountain. There is grave danger. Hurry, the titans.
Alright. Let's see, we got a thing here. We need to find Wusao Mountain, apparently. What did I get for that? Anything good? Nope, of course not. Oh, we got more terracotta soldiers. This was something that you missed out on because I was stupid and forgot to click the go live button. But I did clobber the crap out of a bunch of terracotta warriors at the beginning of the stream. So I will probably, like I said, I'll probably go ahead and after the stream today, I'll go ahead and take the portion that was prior to when I clicked the go live button and just upload it as a separate video. And then it'll be in the same playlist and all that. So it'll be kind of like a 5.5, I guess. So there's not a whole lot that you missed there. Anyway, let's see here. Cold Steel makes affordable blades for serious outdoor types. See, I haven't really ever heard anything good about Cold Steel. They're, if anything, they have a reputation for being very, I guess the word would be tactical. Like, they think they're super useful and effective, but they're just kind of not. But that may be different for their actual regular stuff, not so much their faux edgy things or their attempts at things like katana or whatever. You think more devs would bother to get a feel for swinging stuff around? I mean, you'd think so, but considering they don't bother to go to a gun range and experience how firearms work, I mean, why would you expect them to do the same for swords or spears or axes or whatever? I mean, games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, with their high emphasis on historical accuracy and actual HEMA use in the game, are a rarity for a reason. Because for most developers, it's just, you know, lazy. They could, they just choose not to. Do I offer coaching for these advanced gameplay mechanics? Yes, I do. It's an exclusive program, and you can sign up for the low price of $5,000 a session for these tips and tricks. I can't even say it without cracking up. The idiotic guru BS. I can't even make fun of it without just cracking up and losing the bit. Oh goody, more pest extermination. Just what I wanted. Ask your dad for a small loan of $1 million. Yep. Oh, we got more demon's blood. I'm just gonna run around here and just trigger as many of these enemies as I can, just so I can deal with them all at once and not just have them show up constantly. Let's see here. The Jinghe Wetlands, okay. More dinosaurs to bring to extinction. Kingdom comes in a mixed bag. You need to eat grape. What a freak. Yeah, there are free pots of stew everywhere. Like I said in my review of that, there's a good game, a really good game buried in there somewhere, but it's buried under a pile of jank and of particularly technical problems. I'm really hoping that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is supposed to come out later this year, is a significant improvement. From what they've shown off, it does seem to be a better game, so we'll see. Let's see. Got another cave over here. Back to absolutely annihilating the undead. This guy, not so much. It's a giant frog man, and I do not like him. And he keeps summoning these little assholes. Let me heal, game. There we go.
You have no more room.
Oh, we're out of space. Let's see. Can I move some stuff around? No, I cannot. It's time to go back and sell our random crap. Gin and tonic. Eh.
My staffs are simply the finest.
If it weren't so early in the day, I might go for a hard cider or something, but it's too early for that.
Bye.
But I'm not much of a drinker, so.
Why carry what you can put down?
Alright, let's see here. Essence of Guan Yu's Grace. Whole bunch of raptor teeth. Let's see, Guan Yu's Grace. I'm pretty sure I have an Essence of Guan Yu's Grace in here somewhere. Oh, I've completed it. Never mind. How about Demon Blood? Yep, we can combine those. Alright. Let's go ahead and combine these all together. And then store them because I can't do anything with them that's useful. I mean, sure, they'll give you some slight bonuses, but they're better off just being used to create artifacts And then
And wind at your back, not in your eyes.
I don't know if the artifacts can be upgraded or whatever. I mean, I've had this one for a while.
What have you got? A relic.
Let's see here. No skill points. Okay. Okie dokie. We have cleared everything out. There is, in fact, an auto sort option. Somehow I've only noticed that there is an auto sort option just now, which is baffling, but okay. Alright, let's see here. A new cyberpunk in Bohemia. I mean, the original Kingdom Come Deliverance wasn't anything close to being as messy on launch as Cyberpunk was. So I'm not entirely sure what you're going for there. Learn to be better at archery and KCD, for which you needed a fist fight. Now you need to start a little horror game. I don't know about that. I mean, if you're early on in the game, then there's not a whole lot to catch up on in terms of things like story or even mechanics, because you can just relearn the mechanics as you go. But the one thing that you do need to get back in the swing of things within Kingdom Come Deliverance is the melee combat, because it's so specific. There's a lot of muscle memory involved in that, so. Archery, not so much. Once you've got your skill up in archery a bit, then it's actually pretty straightforward and easy to aim and shoot things. But you do need to get your skill up a bit for it. Really bad when you're outnumbered. Yep, it's like that, and that is pretty realistic. Going up against even just one additional opponent is a massive decrease in your survivability, both in real life and in the game. So. We'll lose all reality and be usual medieval RPG. From everything they've been showing, no. That's definitely not the case. Now, it might be smoother, it might be a bit gamified in some ways, because they kind of have to, because I mean it is after all video game, but I highly doubt they're going to lose the more realistic edge that they had with the original game. Because that was one of the big selling points of it after all. And they know that going into the sequel, so. Okay, please stop hitting me with lightning bolts. It's very rude. Battle marker here, which increases our attack rate, which is very useful. Because it means we just bonk things faster. And anything that speeds up the combat is a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because holy crap. The tedium is real. Why you no attack? Okay. Let's see here. Now, where am I going? I guess up to this pathway up here. KCD was one of your favorite RPGs in the last gen. I mean, to be fair, the last gen didn't really have very many good RPGs, so it kind of wins by default there.
Warrior, you must help. Satlajin's charm has broken.
You think it'll get a 1.5? I don't necessarily think it'll be a 1.5, considering it's, well, functional. There's not really anything that's necessarily wrong with it, it's just that it's really, really boring. I mean, if you look at it in the grand scheme of games like this, it's just another one. That's kind of the problem. Ow. So much damage. I wonder if I can get this guy to fight on my behalf. Let's see. Yep. He'll run up and start bonking things too. There we go. Anything to make the combat slightly less tedious. The old tried and true lure enemies into guards trick. A favorite of any player of a Piranha Bytes game. Games like Titan Quest are addictive but not nutritious. Exactly. The thing is that I don't really suffer from addictive tendencies, so it does basically nothing for me at all. Which is immensely frustrating when I pointed that out in my Diablo 1 video. People thought I was joking, or they thought I was just lying. No, I don't suffer from addictive tendencies when it comes to things like Skinner boxes. I mean, hell, I don't smoke, I don't really drink much. Basically only on special occasions, or if I just, for whatever reason, really want something. Like, some days you just really want, I don't know, a hard cider or a glass of wine or something. But even then, I never go past one drink, maybe two at most. And yet people act like getting addicted to this gameplay loop is a good thing. I just look at those people the same way that I look at people who encourage gambling addictions. It's ridiculous and insane. I mean, in a game like this, it's not necessarily malicious. Obviously. In a game like, say, Diablo Immortal, it is, but in a game like this, it's not. It's just, for whatever reason, they think this is a compelling gameplay loop when it really isn't. Highly polished clones with the very definition of mediocrity. More like 2.5, since the game does run like... But I mean, even back when it came out, the game still ran pretty well. I mean, obviously, if you had some slightly weaker hardware, it would have a few issues here and there, but I remember being able to run this thing just fine on a Radeon 9250, for example. I may be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure I remember being able to run it on a 9250 without any problems. And that was by no means a powerful card. So... It's not that addictive. Tries to be, but it's just sheer routine tasks. Feels like work. It does feel like work. And video games should never feel like work. Oh, we're back to fighting these guys. Okay, greater health potions. Again. Why are you not attacking? I click on the enemy, you attack the enemy. That's how this is supposed to work. Alright, looks like we've circled back around to Chang'an. A stable engine like this generate this kind of tedium is an incredible waste. I mean, yeah, it is. That's just it. This game feels like a complete waste. Because they clearly put time and effort into several aspects of the game design. I mean, it still looks good, even though, you know, it's quite a few years old at this point. And yet, they've gone out of their way to showcase numerous ancient regions that don't necessarily get a whole lot of attention. I mean, even though we didn't spend very long in it, Babylon doesn't really get covered much in video games. So it's cool to see it covered in this game, even though it's, you know, completely underused. And I mean, you look at the designs of these areas and such, they look nice.
See how finely wrought this ring
But
is?
it's all wasted on such an incredibly dull gameplay loop. 1 to 8 lightning damage. I'm finding that at level 30. Why am I finding something that garbage at level 30? It's absurd.
By now. What you cannot part with, leave with me. So long. A caravan is like memory
More of these
that
things.
never forgets. I will
Let's see.
keep
I'm going to go ahead and stock up to, I don't know, 500 healing potions, because what else am I going to spend money in this game on? Okay, I got 200 of these greater healing potions. I got... You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to get rid of all these regular healing and mana potions, since I can easily replace them. And I'm just going to replace them all with greater healing and energy potions, because why not? There, we got 400 of each. I think that should be enough. At least for now. And if it's not, then I can always go back and restock. Still can't go this way, right? Nope.
Forest of the Ancients lies to the east. Go ahead. Open the
Oh,
gate.
no, now we can.
Say hi.
They all just hit me at once and I just die instantly. Gee, thanks, game. Appreciate that. Makes you miss the 90s when wildly different genres get slapped together just to see what would happen. Yeah. Yeah, I miss that too. Now it's just everything has to be the same generic bullshit over and over again. Same roguelite bullshit over and over again. It's all so very tiresome these days. I mean, this isn't a new game by any stretch of the imagination, but I love how that guard is just standing there doing nothing. Like, he's supposed to be defending this city, and he's just letting all these monsters in without doing a thing about it. Alright, Shrine of Experience. I forgot to activate my passive again. I'm really bad about that. Okay, just go along here and find more Tiger Men. Yeah, developers don't really experiment anymore. If they do, it's usually in the indie space. But then it can be super rough. But now these days it's all about how much money they can extract from the player base. Even in the indie space, a lot of that happens now. It's depressing. And of course, the AAA space is just, it's baffling these days. I did see that Skill Up did a video on that new Sony IP, Conquered. And absolutely nothing about that game looks even the slightest bit interesting. I mean, it's yet another damn hero shooter. Long after the hero shooter craze is done. And they want... I think it's $40 for it. Just absurd. Like, anybody who's gonna play a hero shooter is already playing Overwatch or Paladins or Valorant. I think the next industry crash is near. I mean, we're already in the middle of it. It's not the same as the 83 crash by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a crash. As far as I'm concerned, it needs to be a lot more severe for the AAAs. They really need to learn that they can't just keep squeezing blood from a stone and expect people to just deal with it. To just put up with that. Tracking real innovation in gaming to see if and how it maps onto the boom and bust cycle is something you should do when you have time. I mean, it might be interesting to see what's going on with that. All AAA developers suffer from the same great herd mentality. They really do. And I know some of that is due to the way that game design schools are these days, where they just outright teach game dev students to prioritize profits over anything else, and I hate to try to even bring this up, but they're taught specifically to do things like inject politics into games, specifically so they can get extra funding and things like that. Because in case you were ever wondering what the whole representation craze is in games, it's really more about ESG funding than it is about actually wanting to bring kind of marginalized voices to the fore, which is really depressing. Because when that kind of thing is done really well, people appreciate it. But when it's clearly shoehorned in just for extra ESG and DEI funding, it's so painfully obvious, and everybody, especially the groups that it's trying to pander to, just go, "Oh, come on, guys, stop it." That's a lot of damage. Yeah, when your game design consists of just ticking boxes for the sake of ticking boxes, it's depressing and pathetic. Oh, we're getting close to level 31. We'll have to see what kind of ridiculous nonsense we have for an XP requirement when we hit to level 31. Never seems much of a difference, regardless of the time you find 80% of what you play garbage. That's depressing. I mean, it certainly feels that way to me, but to be fair, I tend to... when it comes to reviewing things, you kind of don't have a... You kind of just can't stick to games that are potentially great. You have to play the ones that might also really suck just to give some advisement on it. So, but you as consumers don't really have that problem. You can pick and choose what you want to play, and I hope that what I do on my channel here helps you make those decisions and leads you towards games that are really good. It helps you avoid ones that aren't. What do I think about the new Dragon Age? I think it looks like complete garbage. Alright, we've leveled up. Let's see what it takes to get to the next level. 496,516 to the next level. Oh, the number bloat. It is pain. Lots and lots of pain. Go ahead and bump up my strength. And let's see. Let's throw some points into... We'll just throw it into a couple of those into our Trance of Empathy there, and one into Psionic Burn. Why not? You wonder how much of the abuse of formula correlates to investors demanding that devs rely on formula? It's hard to say. Going to potentially good doesn't work that well with you. You thought you would love Dishonored 2. That's a shame. Because I found Dishonored 2 to be a solid game. It's just, it has a lot of technical problems in particular. But I could see where it would be kind of polarizing. You loved Fallout 1 and 2, you expected to like Arcanum as much as I did, but you didn't like... I mean, I can understand not liking Arcanum, because it is kind of a technical disaster. It has all kinds of glitches. If you don't have the community patches in particular, it can get really nasty in that regard, and it especially can get really nasty on things like crashes. So I can understand not liking Arcanum, unless you go with community patches as well, but a lot of what makes that game so good, you really have to stick with it to get to it. It is not the kind of game you can just hop into and immediately enjoy. You have to stick with it for a bit. My reviews are insanely useful. I appreciate that. That's my main hope with them, is for them to be useful and helping people make purchasing decisions. That's what they're for. Planescape was okay when you played it. Oh gee, Deus Ex was a huge letdown, old and new. And you have, I don't know whether you just have really, really narrow tastes in games or what, because if you can't even like Deus Ex, then that's kind of rough. So Arcanum gets good 20 hours. It takes, I mean, it takes a few hours, yeah, but it's an RPG, so you expect it to take a few hours. I wouldn't say it gets good 20 hours in. It's definitely good earlier on in the game. It's just, it takes a while for you to really appreciate what it's doing. But despite saying the whole Deus Ex thing there, I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it. But if you're not able to enjoy it, then that's kind of depressing. Because it is a really good game. But like, don't get me wrong, I understand it is janky as hell. You liked it until Torrent. After that, your experience was miserable. Oh, right. You were the one who had trouble with the Black Mountain mines in particular, right? Which is kind of the big difficulty spike of the game that is kind of the filter for everybody playing it. Because funnily enough, after the Black Mountain Mines, everything else in the game is perfectly manageable and pretty reasonable for the most part. Let's see, a Headhunter's Axe. It's still not better than what I'm currently using. Ugh. Planescape ought to be considered interactive fiction. I mean, no, it is a role-playing game. It's just... It is a very narrative-heavy role-playing game. Which is something that we don't get a lot of these days. And to be fair, most role-playing games of that era were considerably more mechanically based anyway. I mean, you go back and you play the likes of Icewind Dale in particular, that... Like, there is some role-playing in it, but it's primarily just combat. Okay, you can stop with the constant stun effects, please. That would be great, just saying. Okay. Couple of energy potions. I guess that's useful. Those stun effects are really irritating. More interactive you try to make a simulation, the more jank you may have, but player agency and jank still need to go hand in hand. Yep. Content in Isle of Despair is generally worse than what we had in Trent. So, another thing that you need to remember about Arcanum is that they had a very low budget for that game. By the way, we are officially at the final teleportation point of the base game. We're in the end game now. Yeah, the Isle of Despair is kind of rough, but when you get towards the later parts of the game, their budget kind of ran out. So they kind of had no more time and money to work on the game, so they threw together what they could, and well, it got kind of messy at the end there. And even then, they still managed to do some pretty cool stuff toward the end of the game, so there is that. Alright. We're in the Wusao Caverns. Ow! That's a lot of damage. Also, they attack really fast. What is it with this game throwing enemies at you that can do tons of damage per hit and attack really, really fast? Let's see here. Yankee games carry a lot more soul than current AAA cutter games. Yeah, they definitely do. You love Planescape, it's just the gameplay takes a backseat to the story. Yeah, it does. Like I said, it is a very narrative-forward RPG. Which is not something that most RPGs of that era do, so... Or most RPGs in general, really. Most of them tend to be a lot more mechanically focused. Alright, let's see here. And now we're back to Ratman again. Ugh. Please stop making me the Vermin Exterminator game. It's quite tiresome. Well, while I'm exterminating vermin here, anybody have suggestions on what the next game for any kind of live stream series should be? Because I'm kind of at a loss. The results of the poll were overwhelmingly in favor of starting something new once I finish the base game of Titan Quest here. But I don't know what I would want to do. Because it would have to be something that I don't have to think about it as much. Because if it's something that's very narrative focused or has very heavy mechanics, shall we say, then that's the kind of thing I would rather mess around with by myself. That way I'm not distracted by chat. But, I don't really have a whole lot that would fit as well as I'd like on that. I mean, I guess I can always do variety stream for a bit and Just mess around with different things, get a feel for different games, see what might work, what might not work, stuff like that. But I don't know. As far as D goes, I'm gonna text explaining that once. Writing in D is... Oh, Deus Ex. Oh yeah, Deus Ex is far from subtle, but that's kind of the point. It tells you what it's going to be right from the beginning. Let's see here. Gameplay doesn't really punish the lack of skills that much. And yeah, I can understand that, but it's easy to look at Deus Ex like that now. But you gotta remember when that game released, and the fact that it was one of the very first examples of a first-person shooter mixing with RPG elements. And stealth, for that matter. It's an incredibly influential title, but it is a title of its time. And thus it's going to be kind of rough. Now that said, there are some old school or of their time elements that you can't excuse. For example, with the review I've been working on that's been giving me some trouble of Medal of Honor Underground, the game is damn near unplayable because it runs at less than 10 frames per second half the time. It is infuriating. So, yeah, that has not been fun. I cannot forgive it for that. I can't just ignore a frame rate of less than 10, because at that point, the game is basically unplayable. So. But I have noticed, funnily enough, that pretty much every review I've ever seen of Medal of Honor Underground completely glosses over how badly the game runs. Because, I mean, it goes well beyond the whole, oh yeah, PS1 games ran like crap thing. It gets downright unplayable. Anyway, let's see here. Doom's always fun. I mean, yeah, but I kind of play Doom all the time. And I also kind of have to focus when it comes to first-person shooters and action games in general. So I would be distracted by chat a lot more easily. Phantom Fury. I don't have a copy of Phantom Fury yet. And probably won't for quite a while.
You can't carry anymore.
Oh, we run out of inventory space. Time to go back and sell our crap. Strongly suggest the build engine game. I don't know. Build engine kind of has the same problem that something like Doom would. Particularly if it's something I haven't really messed around with much before.
Bye now.
We're up to 500 healing and energy potions now, even though there's no conceivable way I will run out of them.
So long, noble hero. Do not carry your house on your shoulders. Sun and wind are at your back, not in your eyes.
Let's see here. Strongly suggests the only way to balance story and gameplay, and it's a very well crafted setting with really cool backstory and tangible rewards that are challenge to find. Yeah, basically like what Gothic does. I mean, Gothic is still jank, but it's endearing jank. There you say GTA? No, I've pretty much written off the entire GTA series at this point. Wow. That was, they just showed up, hit me a bunch of times, and I'm almost dead already. That is complete BS. I mean, these enemies aren't especially difficult in terms of their abilities or anything. They just do a massive amount of damage really quickly. That's their idea of difficulty. And c'est bullshit. Okay, you can stop with the crazy high damage output. Thank you very much, game. Let's see here. The idea of trying to mix too many genres in one game without the finesse more often not make it rather less polished compared to it tries less and more. Yeah, but the thing is that without the original Deus Ex, you wouldn't have those other games that are trying more with less, so to speak. That's kind of the problem people don't really always get when they talk about how an older game might have a bunch of issues. It can get very complicated, let's put it that way. See, without Deus Ex, pretty much the entirety of action or first-person shooters and role-playing games would not exist. I know people like to say Strife was kind of the progenitor of that, but nobody played Strife. They act like they played Strife, but nobody played Strife. Nobody knew what Strife was, outside of very niche circles. Deus Ex, on the other hand, was quite popular and helped to put that kind of idea on the map. That said, it is jank as hell, don't get me wrong. It reeks of this was a very early attempt at this kind of thing. Is it the kind of thing I would just recommend people play right off the bat? You know, 5 out of 5 must-own material? Absolutely not. But it is immensely influential, and you should respect it, at the very least. Let's see. Oh, we don't use the term immersive sim around here. Because immersive sim is a BS term that means nothing. UW and S2. Yeah, I would assume by those you mean Ultima Underworld and System Shock 2. Some game with a raunchy humor would be a no-go. Yeah, unfortunately, with the way YouTube is. But doing something like Leisure Suit Larry probably would be kind of fun. What's the weirdest game I've ever played? That depends on how you define weird. Saints Row 3 would be a blast to watch. I mean, yeah, I did find it fun. The problem with Saints Row 3 is the licensed soundtrack. Because it has some very specific moments during the campaign that use licensed tracks. And, yeah, the YouTube ban hammer would come down on that pretty hard. Which is unfortunate. Because Saints Row 3 is a fun game. But... comparing newer titles. System Shock 2 came out before, so did Ultima Underworld. I mean, Ultima Underworld is, Ultima Underworld is a dungeon crawler, first and foremost. Oh, for... You have got to be kidding me, game. See, now I'm actually starting to get pissed off. Like, I've gone beyond simple apathy and boredom. Now I'm actually getting kind of pissed off that the game is pulling bullshit like that. Just, here, have an enemy that just insta-kills you. Because that's fun and challenging. It's like, oh, by the way, they can attack about 3 or 4 times as fast as you can and do tons of damage per hit. Ugh. It's frustrating. Gonna do a video on Painkiller series. That can certainly be a bit sluggish. Yep. Yep. Which is why it's been taking a long time. Balanced. Yeah, Balanced completely left the building a long time ago on this game. Yay, poison effects. Get good, increase your power level. Yeah, you can't get good at this game. There's nothing to get good about. Other than my very highly technical very highly skilled techniques for defeating bosses, of course. AKA holding the left mouse button and occasionally pressing a number key. Flame skin, what is this? That is considerably better armor than what I'm currently using. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that on. I don't think it's gonna help much, but it is better armor than what I'm using, so. Or what I was using, I should say. See here. Yeah, I do know that System Shock 2 came out before Deus Ex, but it wasn't long before Deus Ex. And System Shock 2 is still quite janky. But anyway, let's see here. Oh, hang on. Xeno Clash isn't something you've seen anybody stream in ages, but it's rather short. That's the first-person beat 'em up, right? If so, if I remember correctly, it has a really low FOV, and that makes me nauseous. So, unless you can change the FOV, then that's a problem. Well, there's the final boss. And of course he does tons of damage. Mystical Orb. let's see what we got here. Whole bunch of stuff I can't use. Awesome. Thanks, game. Appreciate that. Let's see, let me go ahead and save the game real quick. Not that it matters. Actually, you know what? No, let's go ahead and go back and sell our random crap first. Whoop.
Ah, warrior. True, there is not this beauty of a robe. Come again. Do not carry your house on your shoulders.
Okay.
Sun and wind are at your back, not on your eyes. Why carry what you can't put down?
Oh, forgot to sell that.
So long, noble hero. Please take a look. Bye.
All right. Head back there. Really stands what design decisions it tries to bring. Everything revolves around. I mean, it's also a different kind of game, technically. So. If I do the video on Painkiller, I mean, I'm gonna do the video on Painkiller. Painkiller Purgatory. Yeah, I can't do Painkiller Purgatory since it's not available anymore, and I never had it to begin with. Didn't even finish the first expansion of Painkiller. Yeah, I mean, that whole style of first-person shooter just, it wears on you after a while. All right, here we go. Mysterious portal. We are now in Olympus. Actually, now that I think about it, this might be the Immortal Throne expansion now. Let's see here. So much damage. So much damage. Also the stuns. This just endless stuns. I'm trying to see if I can get to like a settlement or something in here. Please stop stunning me, game. It's very tiresome. Ugh. Okay. This has gotten miserable. Let's see here. I want to check something real quick. Just give me just a moment. Let's see here. Okay, so here's what's going on with this area. So this whole area here is the start of Immortal Throne, but it's also the end of Titan Quest, because what they did with the Immortal Throne expansion is they added it onto the base game. So, in other words, when you get to the final boss of the Telkeen and the Titan, it expands from here, from lower Olympus, and goes up beyond that. So, basically, once we actually take down the Titan, that's the end of the game officially. Even though it's technically the start of the Immortal Throne expansion, so. Okay, I'm really tired of fighting these guys. They're just not fun to fight at all. Let's see here. Let's see, Xenoclash, Dynamic FOV is not held. Yeah, okay. That's unfortunate. Deus Ex, yeah. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from on that, but I mean, it's still great as far as I'm concerned. It's just it's janky, which gives it a lot of character. Let's see. As good as the game is, streaming Fallout New Vegas could be a minefield of bugs, and I mean, there's that, and YouTube doesn't look fondly on the particularly graphic violence in the game, funnily enough. It doesn't really matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, I guess, but it is just something to mention there. No. We don't want to have a gazillion Minotaur lords coming after me here. They can stun me. I don't like that. Not only can they stun me, they do ridiculous amounts of damage and are damage sponges themselves. You know, it feels like I am severely underleveled for this. I know I'm technically not, because there's no way of getting my level up higher than this right now. But it feels like I'm severely underleveled. Oh, now we got Cyclops. Oh, what a surprise! Enemies that do a massive amount of damage. Oh, they're also a full 11 levels higher than me, because why not? Why not? That... Ugh. This game. Balance. What is that? Oh, and they yell at you, and it apparently does massive amounts of damage, too. So that's fun. Oh, and fun fact, not only does the yell do massive amounts of damage, but it immediately puts a cooldown on all of your abilities. So you just can't do anything. Because, you know, that's fair. Let's see, Titan Quest is the annoying quest. It is indeed. Sisyphus take up an axe. It really does feel like that. Maybe I could stream Prey 2017. I'd rather not. That's another one of those kinds of games I'd rather just play by myself. Made a tedious endgame even more tedious. Yep. Have I played Anachronox? No, I have not. I do have a copy of it, though. Just haven't gotten around to it yet, like many other things. Oh, goody. More of them! Roar, roar. Oh boy. This game, it is mess. Oh goody, more of them. You know, The game starts out really tedious, because that's how all games of this type are. However, it gets worse and worse and worse the further you get into the game. I shudder to think how the expansions are going to be. Did I plan to cover the Ryuga Gotoku? Yeah. Eventually I will be covering all of the Ryuga Gotoku games at some point. I don't know when. It'll take a while, though. And there's the Titan. Oh, look, he just insta-killed me. Yep, that sounds about right. I don't know if I can beat him, considering how much damage he does. We're gonna try, though. This is rough. This is real rough. At least the graphics in this game hold up well. Yeah, they do. Okay, let's activate these shrines. Maybe that'll help a bit. I mean, I'm not expecting much here. Nope, just instant death. Of course. We can't have nice things. I mean, I get it. It's the final boss of the base game. It's supposed to be a tough fight, but this isn't tough as much as it's just boring and annoying. You go through a slog to get here, and then the fight itself is an even worse slog. Ugh. Can I go and get... Nope, these haven't replenished, so no. Yay. Oh, he is just absolutely draining my health, too. Or my energy, I mean, sorry. I mean, obviously he's draining my health, but he's... Oh, this is ridiculous. And he attacks so quickly, too. That makes it even worse. I got him down to about half. It's not saying much, but, you know, it's something. Oh, and now I'm gonna get dead again. Awesome. Cool. Yep, it's Typhon. Yeah, Typhon. You think devs would openly admit they're targeting bored, lonely masochists? I mean, pretty much, yeah. Although you can play the whole game in co-op, so they they probably intended is for this game to be played almost exclusively in co-op. So one person would be drawing aggro on the final boss, and then the other players would be actually dishing out the pain. Wow, just immediate. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks, game. Appreciate that. Probably gonna drop some useless loot. Probably, yeah. It's probably gonna be some useless loot, and then barely enough experience. Probably not even enough experience to get me to the next level. I just have a feeling. That lifesteal ability is horrible. Because that's just it. This guy has basically every ability all at once. I'm surprised he's not stunning me. Just stun-locking me to death. Legitimately surprised. Because that sounds like something the designers of this game would do. Can we just not with the massive, almost immediately insta-kill moves, please? It's very tiresome. I think he's actually attacking more quickly. Like, he seems to be getting faster the less HP he has, but I may just be imagining that because this is just BS. Why is my ability not triggering? And there we go again. You know, at least this isn't like a Soulsborne boss where they just heal up to maximum every single time you die and you have to go back and do the whole fight over again. It's just... Use lightning on the Typhon. You're wondering if they expect you to have some form of... I don't think there are actually any... Well, no... I'm not sure off the top of my head now that I think about it. There is lightning magic in this game, isn't there? I don't know. It's a mess. Where the hell's my, my dropped experience? There it is. Damage over time effects are just, they're awful. Oh, by the way, the hitbox for being able to click on him is massive. So, more often than not, I'm trying to maneuver around him, and I keep accidentally clicking on him anyway because the hitbox is so big. So, then I just run right into him instead of, you know, running away like I'm actually trying to do right there. Aren't they making Titan Quest 2? They are, in fact, making Titan Quest 2. They announced it a while back, and since then there's been absolutely no information about it. At least now I'm doing more than just press and hold the left mouse button. I mean, yeah, that's not saying much. And I'm also having to sit through load screens while it loads me back at the respawn point. I need to rename it Titan Grind. Yeah, they definitely do. I feel like I'm just not doing anything to him. I mean, I get that this is a Titan. It's the kind of thing that even the gods themselves can't really fight on their own. But still. At least make me feel like I'm doing something to it other than just mildly annoying it at absolute best. I mean, this has basically become potion chugging simulator. There we go. Finally! Typhon's Essence.
I am Zeus, king of the Olympian gods. We are eternally thankful for your aid in stopping Typhon. No one would have ever thought that a human could defeat a Titan. The epic heroes would kneel before.
By the way, your prediction about him dropping useless loot, pretty much right. I mean, this is part of the same set as the helmet I'm wearing, but it's not any better than the shield I've currently got.
Not yet safe, but the responsibility now is yours. Go, greatest of heroes. There is much.
And now the music's drowning out Zeus. Oh, jeez. This thing's a mess. Let's see, Wing Chun's tier, nowhere near as good as the weapon I've got. Like, why is it that every single weapon I get in this game is worse than... Like, every single bit of gear I get in this thing is worse than what I've got? Now we are at the Temple of Apollo. This is where the...
Brave the sorceress of the Ixian wood. I am blind, but I see. I see a new journey awaits.
Yep, this is where the Immortal Throne expansion begins.
Strife below. You must all creation stands in the balance. Brave the sorceress.
However, this is a settlement, so we're going to go ahead and, yep, we're at the City of Rhodes. So we're going to go ahead and find a...
came to the Ixian wood years ago. They say Medea was jilted by the hero. Medea married again. I've heard she murdered. They say Medea was jilted by the hero.
We're just going to go and see if we can find somewhere to sell our crap. Yep, right here.
The price of bronze. You're lucky I've got anything for sale.
Just sell all the crap that is utterly useless to me. Stock back up on healing potions.
My son has fallen thither. Very good.
And then, let's see here.
Word is that a great ship is not far. A man claimed he saw this.
So now we have giant enemy crabs. So let's see here. Huh? Yeah, we are now officially in the Immortal Throne expansion, which means we have now finished the original Titan Quest base game. That was miserable. And my prediction about not even getting enough experience to level up was very much on point there. Yeah, this is a grind. This is an absolute grind. Yeah. Let's see here. Someone on the Open MW forum. Really aren't enough games set in Bronze and Iron Age settings. Yeah, there really aren't. Ancient Chinese secret have something to do with the lush and moist forest, pretty much. We were just wandering through forests most of the time in that ancient Chinese section, so yeah. Did I finish the game? I mean, obviously you can see the game doesn't really end because it has Immortal Throne, but yeah, if this were the base game by itself, then yeah, the game would be over now. Try to stream JRPGs too. Now we know this format works well for tolerating loot and clicks. I mean, yeah, I guess. Certainly a game ever made. Indeed it is. Out of all of the games that have ever been made, this is certainly one of them. But yeah, that was the end of the base game Titan Quest. Thank you all very much for tuning in on that. I need to get back to working on finishing up that Medal of Honor Underground review. That has been miserable to try to get finished up. So, I'm going to try to get that done for later today. But otherwise, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the next stream. By then, we'll hopefully have figured out what we're doing from there.